I like collecting things. Action figures, books, plushies, trinkets, you name it, I like it. This can be difficult when I have limited space. But another thing I like to collect is facts. I don't even need space for those in my room. They just go up in my head. Whoop, there you go. Hey, we need more room over here. Anyway, some of my random facts are questionably achieved according to my friends. And when I reveal them to other people, they get mildly concerned. But I promise they are all lawfully acquired and not threatening in nature. So today I will be sharing those facts with you. Welcome to 10 Random Facts. They may or may not get more unhinged as we go along. Let's do this. Now, you've probably been on Tumblr, or at least heard of it. I remember scrolling through it once and reading a post that said that The Lion King was based on Hamlet. But did you know that it's actually based on an African epic called the Epic of Sundiata? Yeah, the plot perfectly lines up with The Lion King and is actually original to Africa, showing you how much thought and care went into this movie. This is back when Disney was at its peak and still made me feel things. Nowadays, I have to go to Netflix to feel something. Like K-pop Demon Hunters, have you seen that? It's epic. Love that show. Don't worry, Big Mouse, you'll get them next time. I am also a little annoyed that now so many people have been deceived and are under the impression that The Lion King draws from a European storyline rather than an African-based one. Come on, Shakespeare, there's a chance you didn't even write some of the stuff that you published. Leave these stories alone. Also, I really love Romeo and Juliet, but I gotta say, my favorite has to be King Lear. Really changed my thought process. Anyway, thanks for everything. Bye! I'd like to apologize for how unhinged I'm already acting, but number 2 is actually a life hack that I got from Mental Floss when I was in middle school. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised more people don't know about it because it was John Green who did the hack, and obviously everyone loves him, and if you don't know who John Green is, you at least know who Hank Green is. I mean, just look at Hank's socks. Man, they're so cool. Anyway, it's a way to fold a chip bag without actually using a clip. You flatten the top half of the chip bag and then start folding it from the top in 1-inch increments. Then once you've gone as far down as you can, you take the edges of your fold, push them in horizontally over the corners of the bag, and then fold them back over once, and bam, chips closed. No clip needed. It became kind of like a party trick at get-togethers when I helped clean up afterwards. This fact feels more like obvious information. You want to get a lock open, but you lost the key, don't have it, forgot it at home, whatever reason? Just use a hammer. Some locks are really cheaply made. Actually, most ones are. And the big corporation ones are actually really easy to open. Just give it a nice big pop with the hammer, and voila, lock open. Anyways, this one's a pretty well-known random fact, but I like thinking about it. The stars we're looking at could be dead, and we just don't know it yet. They're so far away, it takes thousands of years for their light to reach us. And by the time it does, that star could be dead, and we just wouldn't know. And no one would see it until maybe 1,000 years or so afterward, when the light of the supernova finally reached us. It's things like that that make me think time travel is kind of plausible. Because also, if you think about it, we created time as a construct to measure out the division of light and dark, and it can be subjective to our geographical positioning. The light we're seeing is from thousands of years ago, and it still dazzles us to this day. That's cool. Beethoven's Heroic Symphony was originally written and inspired by Napoleon. Yeah, that one. But when Shorty declared himself emperor, I'm taller than you. Beethoven was enraged and almost destroyed his nearly finished work. But a friend stopped him because it was so beautiful. Beethoven agreed not to destroy it and scratched out the title until his pen tore through the paper. And he and his friend never spoke of the reason it had originally been written. But also at that point, the piece was less of a reflection on Napoleon and more of Beethoven's own inner battles as he lost his hearing and fell further into depression. He became the hero of his own symphony. I like Beethoven, he's cool, but my favorite to this day is still Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky is best known for Swan Lake Ballet and The Nutcracker, but he hated writing The Nutcracker. He hated the ballet, he hated how popular it got. Sorry, bro. You're a musical genius, and I am reaping the benefits. I love the Nutcracker. It's my favorite. I have a collection of Nutcrackers because I love the ballet so much. So, thanks, Tchaikovsky. Know that I will carry your love and legacy in my heart forever. Thank you for giving me the Nutcracker. Did you know that spiders learn your daily schedule and modify their schedules to yours for maximum avoidance? So, if you see a spider, you've changed your schedule. You're not supposed to be here.
Hi, I'm here to talk to you about your car's extended warranty.
Makes sense. They're small and we're giants. I'd learn a giant's schedule if I lived with them to avoid being squished.
Well, seeing as how short you are, you should consider adding that to your to-do list. Get it? 'Cause you're short?
Did you know that organic material decomposes faster when buried 3 feet under? If you want something to be preserved, you bury it 6 feet under. But if you need something to decompose fast, say for composting, the acidity level at 3 feet is prime for breaking down whatever you got buried down there.
Wait, please, I'm still alive. Should have thought about that before you called me short, you.
Black holes are so interesting and terrifying. When a star dies, there's basically 2 ways it can go. It can become a nebula, a star nursery that contains the components needed to make a new star. That's beautiful, a great symbol of death and rebirth. But the thing is, for a star to become a nebula, it needs to be the right amount of mass. When stars die, their mass decides what they can become. The greater the mass, the more likely a star becomes a black hole, which is also interesting because high-mass stars burn hotter and are brighter, which means they burn through that fuel faster and die quickly. There's a sort of morbid, sad poetry to black holes. So desperate to shine in their first life, they burn out. And instead of giving life to new stars, they become these great, giant, destructive voids that destroy the light they once emitted. Black holes have lots of interesting facts about what happens as things go in and what happens on the other side. I need to read more about that because I have an idea for a story involving a black hole and the singularity point. I'm horrified and fascinated by the idea of entering a black hole and how time slows and an item is crushed by the gravity of the black hole, but to the outer eye you just disappear. So you may or may not have been on TikTok recently and seen this thing called the bunny papillomavirus. I like bunnies. If you know what the bunny papillomavirus is, then you know that bunnies infected with it start to sprout these weird appendages that kind of look like tentacles, mainly around their face, mouth, eyes. Now, these growths aren't directly harmful to the bunnies unless they're covering up the mouth mainly of the bunny, because then it can restrict their eating. And it's actually seen in other animals as well. A little different. With deer, it looks like these giant spots that kind of just appear. And these diseases are very specific to these species, so don't worry about your pet bunny at home getting tentacles sprouting from their mouth. They're fine. You're fine. It does make me think that whoever thought a jackalope was actually a thing just saw a bunny that was infected with the papillomavirus, and it had like these horn-like things sprouting from its head as a result of the virus, and someone thought they were just straight up deer horns on a bunny and invented this cute but imaginary animal. Also, can you imagine just looking at a cute bunny from one side and thinking it's fine, and then it turns its head and you're convinced you're face to face with an eldritch creature of the night? That would be very interesting. Anyways, I think that's all the random facts I have for now. I do have a few more, of course, in this head of mine, but that would take longer and I might do them in a separate video. If you guys like this, just let me know and I'll do more. If you're wondering why I collect these random facts, it's for my writing. I do research sometimes and interesting things pop into my head and I keep them for later because, hey, I could use that in a story. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like these random facts. And here is a secret 11th bonus fact. I still do not have an outro to my videos. I think this is just the way we exist now. Bye!